Hi everybody, welcome back to Bonsai Down Under. Today we're going to look at two plants that I bought from a guy at the markets, our local markets. Now they've been sitting in these black bags that he usually sells them in for quite a while. When I do get them, I leave them in these bags. I don't transplant them straight away into a new pot. So this first one is a Feijoa, commonly grown in New Zealand. Now its another name is called the pineapple fruit. So it grows like these green type fruit on it, and it's like when you cut it open, it looks like a bit like a cucumber, but it's yellow inside. And apparently very nice, very sweet, and it's got that a nice pineapple sort of flavour to it. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to eventually get some fruit. I'm growing some of these Feijoas in a larger style as a fruit tree. So and maybe they might bear fruit a lot earlier than the one that's going to be done into a bonsai. But it'll be interesting to see the fruit on it later in life down the track when it bears some fruit on it. And another one I got here is the other one is it's called a peanut butter plant. Yeah, these things grow very fast. Like this one here that's been in this pot. When I first got it, it was probably about here, this height here. And now it's basically shot out a new leader, which is fairly tall and straight. It's got no movement to it or anything like that. So I want to basically cut that back and see if I can get some other branching happening through here, and get it lower, and get some movement in the branching. So yeah, they're two that we're going to look at today. So what we might do is get this one. We'll start on the peanut butter one and get that repotted and take it out of this black bag to start off with. So yeah, all right. Let's do that. Get it out of there. Put it in this black container. It might you mightn't see too much if you've taken it out. So we'll give it a bit of a squish around. I'd say these roots in this one are quite vigorous. We'll yeah, they grow quite quick. These peanut butters. Yeah, look at that. Look at the root system on this. It's gone pretty crazy. Yeah. So that's why I want to get it out of these black bags now, and transplant it into one of my ideas here with these strainers. Get those roots aired out, and so they can get air pruned, and which will create a lot more ramification there, and get a good root development happening. So, but yeah, and plus, like I said, this idea, if you're basically new to have a look at my channel, I've been putting a lot of my plants now, my starter bonsais, in this type of idea, because of the holes and stuff like that, and so the roots can come out the side eventually, and then just they'll just die off and then re-ramify inside, and you're getting a lot more developed root system there. Yeah, so that's what we're going to put them in today. So let's have a look at this, and we'll get this raked out. I'll just get this raked out of the soil in here first. It's got a lovely fine root system, this peanut butter. It's not nothing that's really big and bulbous and growing thicker than the rest of it. Yeah, so it looks not too bad, but fairly wild. And we'll just rake this out, get all the soil out of it a bit. So raking it out from the outside. I want to get these in now into new pots now. Trying to get everything sort of repotted now. We're really in the into spring now, so we've got to move along and get these pots repotted, these plants repotted. I'd say this was a cutting. It's quite flat on the bottom. Everything's sort of like growing outwards from that point. So yeah, that's a great root system. It's pretty wild. There's a couple of big ones there that we'll have to try to correct, that are curled around a little bit. But anyway, so what we'll do first is I'll go and give this a quick rinse out, and then I'll bring the camera in a bit closer and we can have a look at having a bit of a correction on some of these roots. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So yeah, look at this. We've got a fairly good fine root system happening here. It's not too bad at all. Like I said, it's come from a it's got fairly flat on the bottom there, and it's all sort of shooting out, not too bad. There are a couple of roots that have a bit high. We've got a root plane that's up pretty high here. Some of these roots that are up higher, we'll cut them back a little bit, and so we can get a natural root, because we don't want that too high up there, starting in on the root plane. So yeah, it's obviously it's got the bottom of it coming out like this, and so I don't think I'll be able to do too much with that really. It's the way it's growing out there, and it's got a really fat one right there, but then it comes back around. So maybe we can slowly cut that back, and see if we can get a little bit more of a straighter root system happening there. But see, we've got these ones up high up on the trunk here. We don't really need them. So alright, so we'll remove them first and get some scissors out here. Alright, so let's take some of these away, these top ones. I want to remove them. Alright. So yeah, quite a developed root system on this already. It's going to be quite interesting. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't get my arm in your road too much. Alright, so there's this one that comes out, this fat one here, and it starts to curl around. I think we'll remove that. I think we'll have to. I'm gonna have to remove that with the side trimmers, because that's quite a fat root through there, and we'll have to remove that one with the side trimmers and bring it back to a just take that curve off it a bit. I think I will. Trying to work out which way to. We'll just cut it down this way. Yeah, that's best to remove that. It's like it was curled around. It's got a fair bit of root system there, but you know, it's best to remove that now. you know, it caused a lot more dramas. And that's the thing. With them being in pots and things like that, that's what happens with your root system. It all wants to do is when it hits the side, it wants to start curling around the outside of the pot. I might even take that back a bit further yet. This is gonna cut the tree back a little bit. But anyway, we'll just see what happens with that one. See if we can get some more roots coming out of there. Alright. There's... Alright, let's get some of these up the top here that don't need to be on the top here. Still cleaning them up. I sort of want everything to sort of fan outwards. Try to get the roots to go outwards now. We'll give it a little rake out. And see what we've got here. We've got a fair bit of congestion in this area here. And that root's pretty vigorous too, that one there. So we might take him back too and see what comes out of there. That's a fair bit that's come off there. I think it's we might remove that. I think these guys, these peanut butter, as I was told, that they are quite vigorous, you know, and they will bounce back. But we got to do a bit of correction on it, otherwise you can't get a half decent root base happening then. There's one here, we might balance out a bit more. Shoot downwards a bit. We might just cut that one back a little bit. It's just not too bad, that one. Take a couple more off the top of there. Right, yeah, that is shooting upwards, that root. I'm not really happy with that one. See how it sort of shoots upwards. I might see if I can get that. We might cut that back, I think, too. Cut it off, I think. I don't like the look of that. So we're getting pretty bare with what we got left here now. So, but you know, we're coming into spring now, and this will improve again. It's best to try to correct these problems. Otherwise, you'll never get a plant with a good root base established. Yeah, that's not too bad. Well, I think we'll just leave it for now. We'll leave some roots on there. We don't want to be taking this right back to nothing. I think that's what we'll have to do for now. I'd like to really keep on slowly and reducing this, but it's going to be hard because it's where all the main roots are feeding off that area there. They're all feeding off there. So we'll just see what happens now. I can't really do a great deal more with it. I'll try to get that as radial as I can when I put that back inside the pot. There's one there that's crossing over. I might like that like that. And we'll bring it out. Well, you know, we'll leave it in that strainer, that air pruning pot, for about a few years, and then we'll come back and have a look. We might have to check this a little bit more regular because it is quite vigorous, this plant, as we can see there. So righto. All right. So that's sort of what we're left with there. We're going to get let that grow now and strengthen up. And we'll spread these out a bit more and see what we got, and see where we can go from there, and see what the root system's like in a couple of years. Let me put it back in that pot. Like I said, I've reduced the root system a fair bit, so I'm going to cut this back now. Like I said, I want to cut it back anyway, because I want to get a bit of movement in there, in this branch here, this top one here. I did curl this one around before, so that's got a bit of character to it. You find that it doesn't, it's gone right out there with the branching. I'd like to see it come in a bit closer, but it's not a bad little first branch there. I'd like to, then we'll eventually see if we can get some out here, some other branching happening off it, because it's just shot upwards at the moment, and I'd like to get more movement in that trunk line. Alright, so we'll get this repotted, and then we'll go from there, hey? Alright, I'll just have a bit of a clean up and I'll be back. Alright, let's get this in the pot. Put these out of the way for a minute. Alright, we'll get some soil in there. Just simple. It's like I said, they're in training. These plants, they're waiting to get a better development on their root systems and stuff like that. And that's the whole idea in these strainers. Over time, they're going to really develop a great root system. So what we do is we get some soil in here. Don't mind if we get a little bit in the bottom here. So you don't mind if it falls out the bottom a little bit with these. That's the whole idea, is to get those roots to airproof. Give them some room to grow and stretch out their roots. So we'll get a bit of soil in the bottom. Alright. Okay, let's put him in. So we'll put him a fair way in the bottom here, like, just I don't want him to be jumping around too much. Now we'll fill it back up with some extra soil. I'll put this up on the lap here. There we go. Hold our tree. Slowly put it in there. Fill him up. Once we get it in there, a fair bit in there, it'll get self-established. Not really showing any roots off at the moment. It's still way too young to have any exposure of roots up the top of the surface there. Develop them roots a lot better yet. Okay. Just start to, because it's quite top heavy, this plant, what we'll do is we might give it a bit of a haircut now. Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll take some of this off now, I will. Alright, so I want to reduce this quite a lot, but an outward sort of leaf there, we'll probably go about this height, I think, because maybe a tad higher. Actually, I still want to, yeah, I'll go here. This is quite tough. Might need the side pruners to cut that. It is quite tough. Wow. There we go. Off she goes. That's the time I make that I'm going to put that back in, and I'll get another nice cutting out of that. So good time now to get your cuttings happening. in spring. So we'll just give this a little, just a movement down with the chopstick there to get some, whatever, get that plant to settle in the soil better there. So it's all inside the there. All the air's out. That's air pockets. This, like I said, this soil drains pretty good. I put some pebbles on the top too, which weighs it down a little bit more, and until those roots get established. And the pebbles are good too, because like I said, they're really good drainage. I find too with them in there, you don't really get a lot of weeds happening on your plants. So yeah, sort of blocks out the weeds a lot, having those pebbles on the top too. So we'll put some more on, a little bit more. Around it there. Okay. I'll put that in there. That's good. Just another little fish around there with the chopstick. It'll dig around. Settle it down in there. See, this is the thing there. It won't take long to get going again, getting established, this plant. It'll probably have a little setback, but it's not much. That's okay, because we've chopped a fair bit off here. Now we'll wait for some new ramification to happen, new branching to come out. And that's what we want. I don't really want it to be real tall yet, just because I'd like this to change a little bit and see if we get gets a little bit more movement happening, something like that. Some more side branches happening too. So, yep. All right, that's pretty good. Now we'll just give it a little bit of pebbles. If I can find my pebbles. Put the pebbles on the top. Yeah. And with the pebbles on the top too, because when you water it, it stops the soil from flying out everywhere too on the top, which is a good thing. It just keeps everything in compact, It's nice, easy to water. Keeps the soil damp too. It keeps this bonsai soil. It keeps its moisture quite good. You water these plants, and you don't have to water them for about 3 or 4 days. Probably, because we're in spring at the moment, it's a bit cooler here. But during the summertime, you know what I mean. You probably have to water a couple of times, 3 times a week if you're lucky. With this bonsai soil. And there you have it. That's our peanut butter plant. Oh, I forgot to say it too. These plants grow like the fruit on it. It's a bit like a plum, and it's quite yellow inside too. But yeah, they reckon it tastes like peanut butter. So it will be interesting if it bears fruit. I am picking up fruit trees. I think they're quite interesting. They're going to be quite interesting as little bonsai trees. So yeah, instead of just your evergreens and things like that, and makes it. I think I like to have a bit of variety, different species. Just things to try. Yeah, and then to see what happens. All right, that's our peanut butter. So what we'll do is we'll give that a water. It should be fine at the moment, because like I said, that soil, I'll give them a water later, and then we'll give you a little spin out later, close up of them. So we'll get in now and have a look at the feijoa. So we'll put our peanut butter aside for now. Put him back over here. He can stay there. All right. So let's have a look at this here. It says I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna make a cutting out of that. I could probably get nearly 2 cuttings out of that. So we'll just put that aside for now, and I'll put that in some water. It'll be alright for a little while. Just hang out over there. Alright, let's get this feijoa out, hey? Feijoa. Loosen up a bit. I can't really see them labels anymore on that, so I won't need those. So we'll get this out of the pot. Oh yeah, this one's got a fair bit of root system on it too. So yeah, we'll get this raked out. So always remember, when you're raking out your roots, always rake out and use something that's, you know, it's not going to destroy your roots too much, eh? You don't want those fine feeder roots to be destroyed too much. So I find these rake things are good. They've got little forks on them which can get in between your roots, and just slowly tease them out. Don't go crazy and really wild and try to do it in a hurry. Bonsai is just, it's supposed to be, it's a relaxing thing, you know. You're not meant to rush. You don't have to rush things. That's the joy of it. Enjoy it. Then it's the enjoyment of watching your plants grow then too, you know, and keeping them alive. That's the fun thing. Keep trying to keep your plants alive. Yeah. I'm just doing it in this black container. It just keeps everything so it doesn't get the table all yucky and dirty. And we'll do a zoom in. This soil is, this guy he puts in these plants. It's basically just garden soil. So you want to really get it out and get it into something a little bit better for it, more aerated. Because this stuff it gets pockets of air, dry areas and stuff like that, and that's the problem. You end up with areas of the pot getting more water, more moisture in it than other areas. So we got a pretty wild looking root system going on here too. Yeah, it's quite full. We've got a fair bit happening there. So already, all right. So anyway, we'll get that washed out, and that's what it looks like. It's quite good. It's quite fine root system. It's fairly high up, like I said. We got to pick a point there where we want our root base to start. These are cuttings, I think. They're very flat on the bottom. So with the cutting, it always shoots out roots everywhere, and no matter, depending on how deep that you have the pot too, that plant planted in that pot, you get roots going up higher than they're all out of the place with the cutting. So you've got to get all that cut back, and so you can get a good root system started there. You don't want it to be too wild and high up on the trunk line. We can get more bottom of this trunk more exposed later on, if we take all these top roots off here which don't need to be there. So All right, so I'll go and give this a wash, and I'll be right back with you. Righto, we're back. So look, this is what we have. Nice, not bad at all, really. It's I'm quite happy with what we've got here. We'll just give them a little rake out first and get everything sort of get it untangled a bit and see what we've got. See, now this is the best time to be doing these, taking all the soil away from the roots and having a look at these roots, because it's got all the growing season now to pick up and develop a new, improve its root system. So it's good to correct those sort of problems now within spring and that. We've got some pretty crazy. What has happened there? That one there looks like it's bent right around. That's curled itself back around and gone back underneath here. So we might take this back closer to that trunk line. So what we'll do is we'll remove some of these roots up high now on the root plane. We don't want them up so high, so we'll remove them. All these ones up top here, I don't want them up there. We'll just remove them. We want that a little bit lower, that root system to start. Yeah. It's actually not too bad. So what we'll do is we'll cut that. We'll just cut that and see if we can get something else to come off that. I'd like to see where that goes to. Alright, it goes back around into there. Rightio. There we go. So we've cut that back and maybe we'll get something finer growing out of there now. We'll just rake this out a little bit more. There's a couple of tangled ones there still. Pull them out a bit. Alright. Yeah, so we've just got to work on a little bit at a time, each time sort of thing. We can't get too crazy and take it all back. Still got a bit of dirt in there. I might just go and give that a quick rinse out again, and I'll be back with you. I just need to take a little bit more out of there, I think. I don't want to put my scissors onto that. Now, check this out. You see what's happened there? It's got this, it's come down, that's the main one, and it's come down there, and this one went right back around underneath here, so that's why I had to cut that. I'm thinking I might cut that back a bit further now. If we cut this root back further, it just can be like the trunk line then sort of thing, and I think that might be a lot better for the plant if we cut that back further. I have to use the side cutters here. I'll have to take that back further. Yeah, get rid of that. We'll remove these top ones here a bit. They need to come off a bit more, those top ones. We don't need them. in the root plane. They're a bit too high up on the root plane there. Remove that one there a bit too. So that leaves us quite bare root plane there now. So that's a lot better. We can let that improve now. We'll leave some there. We're not gonna stunt this right out. We need roots to stay there. But that's a lot better. So what we'll do is we'll plant that, and that will thicken up better now, and see what we get when we put that inside our strainer. Eh? Righto. Let's get this one potted. Righto. Let's pot this up. Let's get me to lower the pan, so I'll just put this in here. Get some soil in here. Make a little mound up, so we want them roots to sit in there. There's some air in there. Rightio, we'll put our tree in. And now we've got a nice sort of, that's going to be a lot better now. I think we've gotten rid of those nasty bits, and all those roots that were sitting up high, up on that root plane there, we don't really want them to grow there. We'll just get some soil in here to top him up. Our chopstick out, give that a bit of a dig around. Like I said, these plants will stay in these strainers now for about, I'll keep them in these strainers, let them develop for about 5 years now. So that's that'll sit in there now. I just keep this out of the wind for a while. Keep it out of the wind. It's I don't have any kids and things like that running around at the moment, and they're going to knock my plants around and that. So it's quite safe. So we'll just top this up a bit more, and then we'll put some pebbles in there. So they can just sit, I just sit them at the front there of my property, somewhere nice and safe for the dog. The dog can't get to them, knock them over. I only have one dog. He's a big dog, but he's clumsy sometimes. He knocks plants over. I've had to put a cage around all my plants. He tries to bury his toys in them. So we'll just dig this out a little bit more. It's quite good in there now. Nice and firm. Yep. It's got a bit of play in it, but but we'll put some pebbles in there, and once that in there, the roots don't take long to get established in these pots. Some of our other earlier ones there, we'll do some updates on them. They're starting to bud out now, and the bougainvillea that I did, it's coming to life, sprouting out new sprouts. So we're going to leave it for a little bit, and then I'll give you some update. So we'll just get a bit of pebbles in there now on the top. When these plants are finished in these pots in about 5 years, then I'll be ready to put them into a bonsai pot. You can go into a bonsai pot, and then we put some new ones in these pots again. So yeah, that's the system that I'm doing with them. There we go. Well, you know, it sort of makes it a bit more attractive too with the pebbles on the top. You said we can place a few rocks in here too. You know, in here around the place a little bit there. Just either side. Some nice little rocks in there. Yep. Alright, so this, what I was going to do is I'm just going to bring it back a bit. We'll give this a little haircut. I'm liking this as a front. That side there is a front. It's got a really nice trunk line going. You know, just nice line here, and this one here coming up the top here is my leader. And I'm thinking I like this one up here basically for a first branch, and we'll see what pops out more. I'm thinking I might remove this here now because I think it's going to become an issue. And I don't like it how it's flowing. So we'll remove this. This is quite a big cut on this feijoa, but I think it's going to look better with it removed. Look at that, it's a brand new plant. You can see the style of it better now. We'll take that little sucker off there. Alright. So now we're going to reduce these back so we can get a bit more movement happening in our branches. We'll just take that away. This one here's got nice sort of development happening. We'll move that. So I think we'll keep that as a low branch, that one there. It's quite attractive. This comes out here, and we've got a branch happening out here now, so it could be a back branch. I'd like to remove this and bring this back in. It's quite a big chop too, but I think that's going to make it a lot better. So we've got one here, there's one facing upwards here. I don't really like that. I'll remove it. You want everything to fan out. There's one here that's gone right up underneath. We don't need it. See now, this is the flow of the trunk line here. This is going to be the lead. I'm going to let this shoot up a bit so we get more development now. I'll leave that to grow. These are only young at the moment, so we'll let them develop and wood off a bit more before we remove them. So we've got this one here now, so we'll see what happens with it. I'm not sure about this one here. Maybe we could bend it out a little bit, give it a little bit of wire or something later. We'll see what happens. So we'll just leave it like that for now. Let's give it a little prune up. Alright, so there, like I said, we've got some cuttings there of these plants that we did tonight. So that's the peanut butter and the feijoa. So I'm happy I got those in some better pots now. Righto. Alright. So that's about it, guys, for this video. I hope you maybe got something out of that tonight. And I'm actually filming this tonight. Yeah. Well, thanks for the people that have tuned in and are watching. And I hope you might have got something out of it. You might be able to share, and if you like the videos, we've got more coming up. So subscribe, and then you'll get the new videos. So it's good that you might have an interest, and bonsai is a good way to get into plants. because it's more hands-on, and you're doing a lot more than just sitting a tree in a pot and just letting it grow. You've got to keep it manicured and look after it, and feed it, and give it the right nutrients it needs, and putting it into putting into pots that are going to give it room to grow and stuff, and giving it direction too. You got to keep pruning it, pruning it down, clip and grow. And that's what my bonsai basically is clip and grow. I do wire a little bit just for direction. Some plant, if I like a branch to come down a little bit, or change its direction a little bit, I do wire a little bit. But I'm not big into wiring, because the wiring. You've got to stay on top of it and remove it all the time. And to me, it's more of a tedious sort of thing. So yeah, but anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time on the next video of Bonsai Down Under. Bye for now.